Hi there, this is Karina Sammons. I'm Presidential Diamond in Columbus, Ohio, and I'm so glad you chose to join me today for this special class. It's a class that's near and dear to my heart, and the topic is toxin-free living. And if you're like me, I'm a note taker, so I hope that you're going to be able to gather and glean all sorts of little words of wisdom and nuggets and maybe some things that you can apply to your life right away. And so grab a notebook, grab a pen, or if you're watching this as a recording, you can push pause, and I'm going to actually be following along with this handy dandy handout called Toxic Free Living. And you can actually reach out to the person that invited you to watch this and see if they have this PDF that they could share with you. Or you can find this as a free download on the website dailymentorcalls.com. Log in there and then go into the resources under the Back to Basics tab. Okay, so we're going to follow along, and some of the topics we're going to talk about. I'm just going to share with you first, though, my journey and why they picked me to probably share on this topic, because it is something that I'm really passionate about. I have a class that I teach regularly called Green Up Your Life, and really just focusing on how we can be more conscientious about what we're putting in our bodies and on our bodies and why it matters. My journey actually started about, I think my journey in terms of really being mindful and thoughtful and starting to kind of baby step my way into this thought process of what chemical cleaners am I buying and what food am I eating. And I think it all really started when I was pregnant with my first baby, and she's 13 and a half now, so that would have been about 14 years ago. And so we have three kids. Madeline is 13, Connor is 11, and Emily is 9. And they are a big reason why I, as a mom, I feel like a lot of things in my life pivoted toward embracing and being very mindful and being very conscientious about how and where I was spending my money and what we were going to fill our home with, the things that we were going to be putting on our hair, slathering on our skin, eating, breathing, things that we're going to be plugging into the walls or not, right? So this class, we're going to be kind of touching on a lot of these different topics. I actually have some of my favorite books that I've gathered. I have a whole library of resources that I've gathered over the years on this topic in particular. So I have some little wise words and thoughtful things I thought that maybe you would appreciate hearing. And we're going to talk about some of the beautiful products that doTERRA has created that over the years, as I've been on my journey with essential oils, right alongside my journey of trying to green up our own life, I've seen this beautiful opportunity to start using more and more of doTERRA's basically created more and more products for us to be able to use in this category. So I can't wait to share that with you. And I'm going to go ahead and screen share, so bear with me for a second. Okay, here we are, and we hit the play button. Okay, hopefully this is clear for all of you out there. So the two main categories that I think we're going to focus on specifically for this class are household products and personal care products. And of course, in those two categories, there's so many different things. There's so many different paths we can go on. But I'm going to try and keep us kind of like knit in to really focusing on some of the most used products in these categories. And I actually, when you think about making tiny changes along the way, and let me just say on that too, I feel like so many of us are on this continuum of wanting to be thoughtful and mindful about the products we're using. But if you're like me, many years ago, I was in the habit of buying certain products for cleaning that I'd been using for years, that I just thought like, oh, that's what you use to clean mirrors and windows. And this is what you use to clean floors. And oh, this is what you use to clean your clothing. And they were these habits that I had. And it really took me stopping in my tracks, doing some research, getting my head, just kind of opening my eyes and my mind and realizing like, oh, I need to disengage the autopilot here, because I was so in the habit of buying these certain particular products or brands that I wasn't thinking about, is that actually what I should be, or is that the best thing to be using? So I think there are a lot of you out there that are really similar, in a very similar place. And some of you may have been already for years walking down this path towards greener, cleaner living. And so for those of you on that path, I just really want to invite you to lean in, and hopefully I'll share some extra new interesting things that maybe you didn't know before, or maybe that just solidify some things that you are already thinking. And for those of you that are newer to this journey, I still imagine that you've been thinking like, I've heard that there's maybe a better toothpaste to use, or I know that there's greener, cleaner types of deodorant, but I've tried a bunch of them and they didn't work so well. So I'm just going back to my traditional product, right? So I just want to invite those of you that are wanting and kind of hungering and thirsting to understand more, and just kind of feel like you need a guide or somebody to help you navigate through this. Thank you for partnering with me, and I hope that you trust me and trust my years of research and really living this out, truly living this out. We many years ago, basically just decided we needed to take inventory of all the things that we had in our home. And this didn't happen overnight, but we basically, I just kind of started taking out all the things that were under the cabinets, under the sink, in the laundry room, in the garage, and looking at it all, reading the labels, figuring out what I had that was good and was okay to stay, and a lot of the stuff that was just toxic and poisons and needed to be actually delivered to the hazardous waste place, because they were so toxic I couldn't even put them in the trash can, because I didn't want them to go to the landfill where it was just going to end up back in the water supply, right? And so I really just, started to kind of like baby step our way along. And to the point where Emily, our third baby, was born, we actually didn't even need to use, I didn't feel like we had to have baby latches on all the cabinets, because there weren't any toxins in the house anymore. I'm like, if she were to reach for something under the cabinet and putting it in her mouth, it would have been totally fine. It might not have tasted great, but it wouldn't have hurt her. And so maybe for us, baby latches were just to keep her from pulling out every single pot and pan under the cabinet, right? But not for keeping her safe from toxins. So I'm just so happy to report to you that it can happen. It can, you can truly make your home a home sweet home. And I want to go ahead and just read a few things, if that's okay with you, to kickstart us. There's been so many surveys that have been done and found that on average, an average adult uses 9 products containing around 126 individual ingredients every day of just like body care. That's in the personal body care product category. 9 or more products every day. That's a lot of fragrances, preservatives, and other chemicals that are coating your body's largest organ, our skin, right? And a lot of times we assume that these products are safe and okay because they're being, otherwise they wouldn't be sold at the store, right? But truly, so many of us have a chemical stockpile in your house, especially if you just read down the list of ingredients that are in some of the things like makeup removers, body washes, shaving creams, shampoos, conditioners, antiperspirants, moisturizers, lipsticks, foundations, liquid liners, hair gels, mousses, toothpaste. The list goes on and on and on, okay? It's just important to think about, with the whole host, the concoction of all the different things that we use on a regular basis, some of them multiple times a day. So if you multiply that out by how many times a week, you've got to really think about how many chemicals are being absorbed into our body through our skin, and and that we need to be mindful. So also, I'm going to read on right here on this slide. It says, while some companies make products that are safe to eat, other companies choose to use known human carcinogens or developmental toxins like coal tar and lead acetate. When risky chemicals are used in cosmetics, the stakes are high. These are not trace contaminants like those found part per million or even part per billion in food, sometimes found in food and water. These are actually base ingredients, okay? Just as flour is an ingredient in bread, these chemicals are found in high percentages in personal care products. Nearly all are very easily penetrating to the skin, and some we even accidentally ingest directly from our lips or our hands because, we're putting toxic lipstick in or things, antibacterial things that are on our hands that aren't good to ingest, and we're eating that stuff. So here we go, okay? You ready with your pen handy? So the first category that we're gonna really dive into is how can we make the swap with some of our personal care products, and which personal care products would be really kind of top priority. So the ones that we have chosen here are the ones that we use, most all of us use at least once or twice, sometimes even more times a day, depending. I swear, sometimes this time of the year, my kids are like needing to shower off 3 times a day, if they're getting poison ivy exposure in the backyard, and then slip and slide and playing in the pond, who knows where they're coming in from. But let's first talk about the On Guard toothpaste. So to rewind a little bit, I'm going to tell you a little bit of a story. My husband, years ago, when we first got married, he shared with me that he was prone to getting mouth sores. And I said, we kind of were narrowing down what it was that could be a trigger. And I said, well, what about your toothpaste? Let's really look at the ingredients. And we started diving into research on toothpaste ingredients and found that there's so many known toxins. And I actually want to read a little excerpt that is kind of fascinating. If you go grab your tube of toothpaste, if you use like a regular, like one of the most popular brand over the counter, they actually have warnings that are printed on there because, for example, this is one I'll read to you. Keep out of reach of children under 6 years of age. If more than used for brushing is accidentally swallowed, get medical help and call poison control right away. What? Yes, this is true. These poison warnings on toothpaste, which you're actually using on your most sensitive, sublingually and through your gums. This is where one of the fastest ways to get things into your bloodstream. So if there are known carcinogens, and one of them being fluoride, swallowing fluoride toothpaste can actually be fatal. So why is it in there? They say that it's in there to help enamel the surface of our teeth, but there's actually, ironically, it says ingesting too much fluoride can actually damage the tooth enamel, okay? So another one of the ingredients that's really popular in toothpaste is a foaming agent called sodium lauryl sulfate. And we actually narrowed it down that was probably the thing that was triggering the mouth sores, canker sores in my husband's mouth. And so we went and found some different toothpaste that had no SLS, so SLS free, sodium lauryl sulfate free. And that totally helped to diminish his mouth sores. And then the more research we were doing, we thought we really need to steer away from fluoride as well as some of these other things like color, the things that have like food dyes and artificial flavorings. I'm like, from all the research I'm doing on artificial coloring, artificial flavoring, those things are all found in the typical toothpaste. So we were kind of having trouble finding toothpaste that we really loved over the counter. So we were super happy when doTERRA years ago came out with their On Guard toothpaste. And interestingly enough, it's fluoride free, and yet it has naturally occurring products. There's some really awesome ingredients in here that help to naturally re-enamel the surface or strengthen the enamel of your teeth. And there are really cool stories of people that have had, and it's like reversing gum damage. And our whole entire family has been using this for years. It's got like a cool kick to it. It has the On Guard essential oils in there, which includes cinnamon, peppermint, some of those. But in addition, it has peppermint in addition to the On Guard oils, and myrrh, which is known to be really helpful in healing to soothe the gums. And so when our kids started using it years ago, it had a little strong kick that took them some getting used to, but they quickly learned to love it. And our oral health in our family has been great since we've been using this, and a little goes a long way. And I also just want to do a quick shout out, even though it's not on this image, but the On Guard mouthwash is so fantastic. And again, if you look at the mouthwash ingredients, they're pretty scary, okay? The preservatives in there, the fluoride, even sometimes formaldehyde, I mean, just some crazy stuff. This is a really great short ingredient list, and you'll love the flavor of it. It has that cinnamony kick. It really freshens your breath, and it also has enzymes in here that help to kill off the bad bacteria and keep your mouth really healthy and strong and sanitary. Some really cool testimonials that I've heard from that as well, okay? Okay, now the next one on this list is the natural deodorant. And I actually was first introduced to the idea of using natural deodorant instead of the typical antiperspirants from my Nana many years ago. She actually lost her sister to breast cancer, and then my Nana herself got cancer, and so she started and then she recovered really quickly, but she was like, I just want to be so super conscientious about what I'm putting on my body, especially in this area. And all of our lymph nodes under our arms and around, we just need to be conscientious. And so she started using things like baking soda, and she would make her own homemade powders, and she would use little like salt mixtures. And so that kind of started me, because that was when I was at the age when I was just starting to use deodorant, and I was sweating a lot, and I was actually self-conscious about sweating. So I was using the stuff with all the antiperspirants. And then after a few years, I started hearing about things about aluminum and some research that I basically just started doing on my own, that took me on my own journey and my own path to have my aha moment of like, okay, my Nana was on to something. I really need to follow in her footsteps. And I actually I have a few things in that I had highlighted and underlined about aluminum, because if you're not familiar with this, then I really want you to understand. Antiperspirants and deodorants, actually, a lot of the products, they combine an antiperspirant and deodorant together, but they're two different purposes, okay? Antiperspirants are made to actually stop you from perspirating. And the thing is, even though maybe you're self-conscious about sweating, I want you to keep in mind, like, our body, this is our body's natural system for being able to flush toxins out of our body. We need to let our body do what it was intended to do. And so we don't want to plug and disable our sweat glands and our pores. That's what antiperspirants are doing. It says nearly all antiperspirants accomplish that task by using aluminum compounds such as aluminum chlorohydrate or aluminum zirconium. And the problem with aluminum, it's a cumulative one. It's the threat that we are getting exposure day after day after day after year after year after year. And it actually, what's happening is it's basically our body is knowing that it's a toxin and it's trying to excrete it. But the tricky thing is, after a while, your body is trying to excrete as much as possible, all that aluminum, but the excess ends up getting deposited into various tissues in our body, including bone, brain, liver, heart, spleen, and muscle. And it's difficult to flush out those toxins like aluminum once it's been kind of locked in place. And so the bottom line is we need to know about aluminum toxicity and really weigh the risks, okay? Now deodorant, what deodorant is actually trying to do is to help, it's not to keep you from sweating, it's instead trying to just kill the bacteria to cover up the smell, right? So what doTERRA has for us is an amazing product, and it took a couple of years of formulating to get it just right, but it's an amazing product. And I'll tell you, I have put deodorants to the test. years ago, I started I found recipes and I started making my own deodorant. And that was kind of fun for a minute, but truth be told, when it's a product you use every day and you use it up quickly, I'm like, I really just want to have an awesome deodorant that I can buy. I'm willing to pay the money. I'll pay good money for a good deodorant, right? And doTERRA came, like, they really hit the nail on the head with this one. It's an amazing all natural deodorant with great ingredients. And this is their typical one. It's the Balance. And it uses Balance essential oil in here, which is a really nice gender neutral. It's really earthy. It has a lot of those trees, spruce, you know, kind of the different woodsy smells, the different essential oils in there, okay? And this one uses arrowroot powder and baking soda, and it has different kind of butters like shea butter, jojoba butter, beeswax, different things like that, okay? And it works great. This is the one that is my husband's favorite. doTERRA also has one that's my favorite that is actually the Gentle formula, and it's not pictured on the slide, so I'm going to try and hold it up here so you can see this. It's the Douglas fir and Greek orange Gentle formula. I have realized I have a sensitivity to using things with a baking soda straight on my skin, and so this one leaves out the baking soda. It has arrowroot powder, and the other it has tapioca starch instead of that. So, and it smells so good, and it works so well. It works so, so well. Can I get a shout out from anybody out there in the audience? Okay, so I really want to encourage you to give it a try. Like, make this switch, give it a try it for a month and see what you think, okay? And like I said, I am, you know, I actually sweat probably more than some people, but my body, it just took a little bit of time for it to adjust to not wearing antiperspirants. And once I shifted over and I kind of let my body just cleanse and kind of flush some of those toxins out, it really regulated itself. And so I feel like I sweat a normal amount now, and the deodorant really, really helps to keep me feeling fresh and clean and smelling good all day. Okay, now the next picture on here is the shampoo and conditioner. And this is another product that we use so often, so many times a week. My husband is one that washes his hair once or twice a day. And so when you think about like putting products, especially the products that we're using right on our scalp, that's so close to our brain and our eyes and our mouths and all these important organs, we need to be mindful about what are these ingredients in there. And this is what I just want to encourage some of you out there. We need to be in the habit of reading labels, reading the ingredients. And the problem with so many personal care products, so many of the products in this category, is that the labels that you find don't disclose all the information, or it's typed so small that you can't read it very well, or you have to peel back the label to try and see what you're looking for. Or often the ingredients were in the box that the product came in and you threw the box away, and so now you don't have it listed. And it might say, go to this website and try and click on this link, and it takes you down this trail just to try and read the ingredients are in there. So if that's the case, if you're looking at some of your products and it's not easy to see what's in there, that is a red flag. Be skeptical. And I would say put it over in the I'm not in the questionable pile, and and if it's one of your favorite products, like, do your research to find out and see, are there parabens? Are there artificial fragrances? Are there some of these things in there that you just don't want to put in your body? Because remember, our skin is our largest organ, and whatever we spread on our skin is going straight into our bloodstream. So we have to be super careful and conscientious about what we're putting on our skin, what we're breathing in, what we're slathering on our face, right? Okay, so the shampoo and conditioner is another one that there are so many dirty, yucky ingredients in most of the hair care products on the market. Fake fragrances, and that one alone, let's just talk about fragrance, okay? If you see in the ingredients list a line that says fragrance, that is a red flag. I want you to know that they don't have to actually disclose any of the information. If they put fragrance, it means it's artificial. Because if it were real from a real plant, they would disclose organic tea tree oil, or, you know, because it's more expensive and they would be very proud of using that product. But when they say fragrance on there, that word can actually hold up to 300 in different ingredients that they don't have to disclose, that they've concocted in a laboratory to maybe look and smell like lavender or vanilla or rose, but it's actually a total chemical concoction of so many different ingredients that are really bad for your system. And if you're like me, I always thought that I was just super sensitive to smells in general, because it would give me headaches or brain fog, or I'd get nauseous, like if I was walking past a candle store or past, you know, the perfume area of the department store. And I just thought, like, I'm just really sensitive to smells. Well, at my very first essential oil class, I remember the peppermint getting passed around, and I put it on my hand and breathed it in, and I was like, oh my gosh, this is literally the most intense smelling thing I think I've ever smelled, but I could just keep breathing it in. Whereas if it was some spritz of perfume with fake synthetic sprays, you know, smells, my head would just immediately jerk away without even, it was just kind of like, a reflex. And I quickly learned that our nose knows. Trust your sense of smell. Because what I didn't realize until I started researching it was all those years that my body was waving a red flag, just trying to say, those are toxic ingredients, run the other way, okay? And so I'm so happy to report to you that it's been so fun. Like, for all those years that I didn't think that I could wear perfume because it gave me headaches, I've had so much fun experimenting with all the different doTERRA essential oils. One of my favorites that I use as my perfume every day is Whisper. And this is cool because it really mixes with your body chemistry, so it smells slightly unique and different on everyone. And you don't even need a whole drop. It's so potent. So a little dab goes a long way. And this little $24 bottle will last me months and months and months. It's very, very special, just to kind of feel like I have permission now to smell great and feel good, and makes me feel pretty, and I don't get a headache. In fact, it actually boosts my mood and so many overall benefits, right? So shampoos and conditioners are known to have so many hidden ingredients, like fake fragrances and coloring and different things added to keep them stable, like preservatives. And so I really want to encourage you to look at those labels and consider trying doTERRA's shampoo and conditioner, because they're so wonderful. Our whole family has been using these for years. We love the way it makes our hair feel. It's great for color treated hair. It's great for heat treated hair. And all of my kids don't have color or use heat on their hair, but it's super safe for everyone in the whole family. So 2 thumbs up. My husband loves it. We all made the switch years ago, and I can't say enough great things about the shampoo and conditioner. And then moving right along to the skincare line, doTERRA has a lot of different skincare products. The Virage is what I have pictured here, because it's really a good one for everyone to try. It's a very simple system with only the 4 products, and the ingredients are so clean and minimal. I have brought here to show you, this is actually the hydrating serum. So first you use the cleanser, and then you use the toner, which you spray, and then this is the serum, and then the last step is the hydrating lotion. And this ingredients list is so short, and basically what it has in here, I'm going to tell you, it's all of the most amazing dreamy oils that are in the Immortelle essential oil blend, which, just wait for it, because it's like the most expensive, awesome oils on this list. So frankincense, sandalwood, lavender, myrrh, helichrysum, and rose. So those amazing oils, those expensive, dreamy, special oils that are so good for healing your skin and, you know, reversing aging, those are all in this Virage serum, which also has some carrier oils to help to just smooth it on, and some other awesome things in there, okay? There's a whole class on skincare if you want to learn more about that, because that's a really fun topic. But again, consider making the swap. There are some of the things that I wanted to I just wanted to put a touch on the preservatives, okay? Preservatives are often found in skincare products to keep them shelf stable so that you can, that they stay, like, they don't go bad after a few months. But preservatives by their very nature are designed to be cytotoxic. In other words, they kill cells, okay? And preservatives, when they're absorbed into the bloodstream, they actually become a hazard to the rest of the body. For this reason, preservative levels are restricted to very small percentages in the total formula of skincare lines. So get this, they're saying just a little bit of poison is okay. But when you think about the amount of products that you're using day after day, week after week, then, is it just a little bit? Because it's that compounding effect. Again, how many times a week are you washing your face, exfoliating, using masks, moisturizing, using eye cream, using foundation, mascara, lipstick, blush, shampoo, conditioner, hairspray? Do you get the point? And so I think it's really important to just say, enough is enough. Like, I don't want a little bit of poison. I don't want any toxins. Let's make sure it's clean and safe and healthy, that even my 13-year-old daughter, that I can say, yes, use this skincare. It's going to help you and you're going to feel beautiful and it's going to be safe, okay? All right, so now let's shift gears to talk about household products. When I was doing a big kind of like starting the journey of swapping things out that I was using, this was the place where I really started. I kind of took inventory of what I was using before, and I realized that, again, like that I just needed to disengage that autopilot, that having a clean house didn't need to mean chemical. It didn't need to be a chemical cleaner for it to clean effectively. And I had so much fun going to the library, checking out books and finding DIY recipes with simple ingredients: baking soda, vinegar, Castile soap, glycerin, all these fun things that I just learned to make my own stuff. And then got introduced to the essential oils, and I would add oils into it. And it was freeing to know that we could clean our house safely, effectively, cheaply. And then the magical moment when doTERRA came out with their On Guard Cleaner Concentrate. It was like a hallelujah moment, because even though I appreciated the joy of doing the work of creating these cleaning products for cleaning my home in a green, clean way, I was like, hey, if someone else is going to come out with, if doTERRA is going to come out with an amazing product with their On Guard with the On Guard essential oil in here, there's actually a full 5 ml bottle of On Guard in every bottle of their cleaner concentrate. And so now what we've done, we basically swapped out everything that I was previously doing. And now we have bottles of spray bottles under all the in the kitchen and under the sinks and all the different bathrooms in the home. And it's so easy. They have the recipes right here on the side. So you just need 2 tablespoons per 24 ounces of water in a spray bottle. Give it a little shake and then spritz it and clean it down. And I like to wipe everything down with my Norwex cloths just for that extra punch of clean that's safe and fun. And ever since my kids have been little, I just love that I can invite them to help cleaning, right? Hello, we need to invite our kids to help us clean up the home. And for those of you that have pets, it's so freeing to know that we're cleaning our home, our floors and our carpets and our surfaces in a way that's not going to be toxic for them, right? And when we have guests and we have people that have immune susceptibility, that we're so many things that I was cleaning with before, I didn't realize were actually irritants. They were irritating my skin, my eyes, my lungs, my respiratory system, all in the name of just like having some cheap chemical cleaner that I thought I was doing a really good job of, like disinfecting the bathtub with bleach products. No, please do yourself a favor and just put the brakes on. Stop and really give strong consideration to swapping out with some of these things that are so gentle and yet so super effective. I mean, if you look at the research on Guard and the lab studies on how effective it is at killing the microbes, and it's awesome. You won't ever go back to those toxins, okay? So the other thing I really want to invite you to ditch that I was so excited when they came out with was the foaming hand wash. This is a product, we have soaps by every single sink in the house, right? And I've done a lot of research on this topic because what I found out was so many of those antibacterial soaps that I formerly was using and that I still see all over the place out in the public is that there are known toxins in there that are killing, yes, they are killing bacteria, but they're actual insecticides. For example, one of the ingredients called triclosan that the FDA came out and admitted in 2015 that it was a toxic known carcinogen and to ban it from being used in products. But there are products that are still being released to this day with triclosan, and sometimes it's hidden under the name microban and other different names like that. So you've really got to be mindful, read your labels. And why not use a product? Why not use a hand soap that's actually going to keep you safer and healthier when you use it? Because here's the problem with all these antibacs that everybody's over washing their hands with right now, is that these antibacterial products that have insecticides, sure, they're killing 99% of the bacteria, but do you know what that means? They're wiping out all the bad and all the good bacteria. Do you know that God gave us skin we need to have healthy bacteria all over our skin to help fight off the bad guys, okay? So if you just washed your hands with that soap that kills all the good and the bad, the next time you reach for a doorknob that may be infected with some cooties, guess what? Those cooties get on your hand, and then there's no more of your good, strong, healthy bacteria to crowd out and fight off the bad. So you actually are more susceptible to getting sick, and it weakens your immune system. And that's part of what the report was that came out by the FDA. And so I just want to invite you to, why not try to swap out with this On Guard cleaner concentrate, or sorry, the foaming hand wash, and the essential oils that God gave us. There's an intelligence hardwired into them that they know to distinguish the good from the bad bacteria. So wipes out the bad guys, keeps all the good stuff intact. Isn't that awesome? Okay, and now on to the next category, which is wanting to make our homes smell so lovely. Who doesn't want to have a home sweet home when you walk in that people feel like is a lovely smell and feels warm and inviting? And I used to burn candles, and then I realized, oh my gosh, like, there's toxins in the lead, there's toxins in the wax. There's so much to navigate with that. The wall plugins that I used to be using that I realized, oh my gosh, there's so many, it's all just artificial toxic fragrances. No wonder they were giving me headaches. And so when essential oils came into our life, the diffusers were one of my favorite pieces of all, because I love that we can plug in the diffusers in different parts of the home, and that we can have the smell of whatever mood we're going for. In the morning, maybe the uplifting peppermint and wild orange together. And in the evening, maybe it's serenity and lavender and cedarwood and bergamot and some of those calming, soothing ones. And that not only is it creating a mood and an atmosphere and actually helping our mood, but it's cleaning the environment as well, like a total win-win. And that's kind of the message that goes along with so much of what I'm sharing, is what a win-win this is. That when we are doing something to help us and help our home and help our families, it's actually a win-win to the whole environment as well. You know, we're helping to not pollute as much, not off-gas things that are toxic, you know. It's really something I think we all should be more mindful of. And I love that everybody wins when we make these choices. So if maybe you've only gotten one diffuser, maybe you don't have any yet, but I want to encourage you, get a few diffusers, because I find that if you have more of them in your home spread out, then you're more likely to use them. And it's so amazing to like let everybody fall asleep with their favorite essential oils in their room, or if they're trying to support your respiratory system, or you're fighting off pollen in the air, you know, that you can put certain things in there that just help smell awesome and make you feel great too. And so the last product that we're going to talk about is laundry detergent, okay? And we could have a whole class just on talking about how to make over your laundry room, but just the short and sweet of it is we want to make sure that we're cleaning our, really cleaning our clothes, not just masking with a toxic soup of artificial fragrances, right? And in this book, I really love her whole series. This is Deidre Imus and her Green This. She has some great information on laundry. And it says, we spend the majority of time in our clothes, so why don't we pay more attention to the products we use to wash them? Most laundry detergents on the market today contain harmful chemicals that can aggravate our respiratory systems and cause serious hormonal dysfunctions. And she gives a good long list of some of the products that are in typical laundry detergents, okay? So instead of exposing your family to these toxins, instead buy a natural concentrated detergent and use less in the wash cycle. Remember, it shouldn't contain petroleum products. It needs to be phosphate free, no chlorine, no synthetic toxic fragrances and dyes, and should not contain optical, which are like fake brighteners, okay? And never ever buy ingredients or products that don't disclose all of the ingredients on the label. I loved her tips, and I just want to tell you that this On Guard laundry detergent checks every single one of those boxes. This cleans our clothing so well. You just need to use a little bit. This little bottle right here actually has up to 64, you can do up to 64 loads of laundry. So it's very ultra concentrated. It's safe for all different types of washing machines, and it has extra enzymes in here that really help to break down the dirt and the mud and the grass stains and those different kind of things that are in our clothing. And some of my fun little tips and tricks too, I add a little scoop of baking soda to help soften and brighten and keep everything fresh. I also love adding a few drops of Purify essential oil to freshen the laundry and just give it a really lovely scent, you know, all natural. And then a splash of white vinegar helps to keep your clothing super soft. So you can also ditch the dryer sheets when you put your clothing into the dryer. By the way, I want to really encourage more and more people to line dry their clothing and to use those, you know, those wooden racks that cost $20 and you can hide them under your bed, but that you can air dry a lot of your clothing. We do that in our home, and it's better. I feel like our clothing lasts longer because we're not putting them through so much of that heat damage. But please do yourself a favor and don't use the fabric softeners or the dryer sheets. Instead, use some wool dryer balls, put some essential oils on there, helps to keep the static away. And it's no longer coating your clothing in a toxic, it's literally a coating that it's putting over your clothing and all around your whole dryer basin. So if you don't know much about that, feel free to research it. But I just want to encourage you that you don't need to spend your money on that, and your clothing and your health will thank you. So as we start to wrap this up, I loved this little image that said, no single drop of water thinks it's responsible for the flood. And so often it's easy to do one little thing and say like, oh, if I didn't put that water bottle into the recycling bin, it's not going to make that much of an impact. Is it really? Or is my life going to really make an impact if I just start to baby step my way into some of these things? And I'm here to tell you, yes, it makes a difference. Embrace it. Your family's watching, your neighbors are paying attention, your kids are paying close attention to what you're doing, and all of these little things that you do to baby step your way into cleaner, greener, toxic-free living is really, truly going to make an impact. Plus, I think that it's more joyful to live a life where you feel like you're healthier and you're doing things that are that are good for the planet and good for your home, good for your neighborhood, right? So just to touch on this, I put a few extra slides of questions I get a lot of times are what are my favorite oils for green cleaning. So I just listed them here if you want to screenshot that. I love everything citrus for cleaning. And then on the bottom, that Slim and Sassy, that's not a typo. I actually will sometimes put that in a spray bottle and spray down my surfaces or diffuse Slim and Sassy. It's a metabolic blend that's really good for putting in your water and drinking. I love the way it tastes, but it has citrus oils and ginger and peppermint and cinnamon. So I also love the way it smells and love the way it cleans. So just a fun little tip. And for all of you out there that love DIY options, I threw in one of my favorite recipes for a product that doTERRA does not yet have a soft scrub. So this is a really great, simple recipe using baking soda, Castile soap, water, vinegar, and then whatever your favorite essential oils. On here, I put 5 drops of lemon and 5 drops of lime, but you can use this for your toilet, for your showers, for your bathtubs, for your ovens, anything that, kitchen sinks, anything that might need a little bit of extra scouring that's still really gentle. So just to kind of bring this all home, for those of you out there that are new to doTERRA or new to some of these products, if you don't yet have your own wholesale account, reach out to the person that invited you to watch this. You're going to want to have your own account because you get all the products at 25% off. You get the wholesale price. And then for those of us that love doTERRA, the smartest way to shop is by actually getting these products in your own, you're kind of shopping from your own doTERRA store for the discount, but putting it in what we call like a wellness box. And it's called the loyalty rewards order. And so you can get an extra discount there because you earn free points, you can earn free products, the oil of the month. So this is just a sampling for those of you out there that are saying, yes, I really want to try some of these products. Like, how can I get started? And what are some good tips and kind of the price that it'll run you? So this gives you just a little sampling. So you can take a screenshot of that if you want to. So this is my last slide, and I just want to read one of my favorite quotes because I'm really hoping as you watch this that you're not feeling overwhelmed by like, oh my gosh, there's so much that she shared and there's so many things, like how do I get started? Rather, I really hope that you feel like, okay, I'm on the right path, and I just want to invite you to baby step your way through this. This quote says, once you green one aspect of your life, I can guarantee you that you're going to want to continue. Going green is a constantly evolving process that all follows from that first tiny step. So just pick a few things that, let me see, I'm gonna go ahead and stop the screen share here. Pick a few little nuggets that I shared with you during this class and maybe just put a star or highlight it or circle it or take a little screenshot and say, okay, this week I'm going to just swap out this 1 or 2 things and see how it goes. And then have fun with it and kind of go from there. Ask your family, ask your kids, ask your husband, what are some things that you'd be willing to try a more natural product? And I venture to imagine that you're going to love the way these work. They're so effective and they're so good for you. And so that's also a misconception. I think sometimes people think, oh, if I'm going to go to a more green, non-toxic product, it's not going to work as well. It's totally the opposite. These products have all worked so well, more of an impact and more effectively than all the other stuff I was using for those years. So thank you so much for joining me. I hope that you enjoyed learning together and that you can really enjoy your toxic-free journey. I am cheering you on. All right, over and out.